Hey guys, how's it going? Well, let's look at some cats doing crazy things. Well, I talk about using a drill, like a cordless drill, to make smoothies and blender things. So what you need is a drill, cordless preferable, and then you need the bottom half of a blender. So you're going to go to the hardware store and you're going to get this little 1/4 inch extension thing, and you're going to stick it in the bottom of the blender piece. And then you're going to have a mason jar and you're going to connect it together, and the result is smoothie. Now that one's probably alcoholic, but you don't have to have alcoholic ones. So let's watch these funny cats. Now, a couple things. You can get the attachment for the blender if you don't have one at like a thrift store of some sort, and that way it doesn't cost you a lot of money if you don't already have one. You're probably going to want to use a cordless drill because you don't have to have 110 electricity. And one caveat about this is it's not going to work quite as well as a regular blender because the drill speed, I believe, is about 20,000 RPM, revolutions per minute, whereas a blender will go up to 40,000 RPM. So don't expect the same kind of quality you're going to get from a regular blender at really high speed, but it should be adequate to get you into a good smoothie or whatever you want to blend up, maybe soup, whatever. Okay, so a couple things you're going to need. You can use a mason jar and screw the bottom of the blender right on. But you have to make sure that you have the right kind of mason jar that actually fits, so that the threads fit. Apparently a pint size works best. The best kind are made by Mason, Ball, or Kerr. So I came upon this article through Reddit, Van Dwellers, and it's actually found in a webpage called instructables.com. And I'm going to have a link in the bottom, so if you want to look at more pictures or read further, you can do so. But in the meantime, I'm going to read some of the stuff that they have there. Okay, so how you do it is you get your mason jar, you fill the jar with ice, you fill or whatever ingredients you want to blend up, and then you would unscrew the base of the blender from the glass, and you put the rubber gasket and blades from the blender directly on top of the glass. Then you screw the blender onto the mason jar. Not all blenders use the exact same threads as mason jar, but the Oster brand definitely does. And now you've basically made a magic bullet type personal blender with stuff you already have. Now, another thing you can do is you got to be a bit cautious because you're dealing with a drill and blender with a glass jar, and you definitely, if you put a bunch of ice in there, you could actually crack the sides of the glass and mix glass with your ice, which would be very hard to tell which is which. So definitely be cautious about that, and if you're really worried about that, then either don't do it or use another option, which is to use a plastic container like a Miracle Whip dressing container, which is either you found or you bought and used or whatever. But if you use the plastic container, you won't have the issue of the glass breaking into the ice or whatever you have. So to continue to read from this article, if you're in any way concerned about blending hard ice and fragile glass at high speeds, don't be. This is what this guy says. I've done this lots of times. I've never broken a glass. Home canning jars are pretty sturdy. They are designed for temperature changes and pressure of home canning. That said, they are still glass. If you would rather use a plastic container, mayonnaise jars have nearly identical threads and the opening size as mason jars. So next time you get mayonnaise, get it in a plastic jar. When it's gone, wash and save the jar. Use the jar as a shatterproof alternative to mason jars. So here's some more details about using the cordless drill. Um, the classic style of blender uses a 1/4 inch metal drive shaft. If this is the style of blender that you have, you can also make mixed drinks with a cordless drill. All you need to do is get a 1/4 inch square drive for your drill. These are typically sold for impact wrenches for use with smaller sockets. You can buy one individually for a few dollars or whole set. Put the 1/4 inch drive in your cordless drill. Set your drill to high speed if there's a speed selection. Once you have prepared your beverage in the jar or smoothie or whatever, screw in the gasket and blades of the base. Insert the 1/4 inch drive into the blade socket. Hold the jar with one hand and the drill with the other. Face the jar upside down and drill until the drink is well blended. Now, of course, you don't have to just do this for drinks and smoothies or whatever. You could also use it for like pancake mix or whatever you might use a blender for. Anyways, guys, I hope that's a useful tip. I found it very interesting and worthy of sharing with you guys. Thanks for watching. Take care. Have a good night.